So, do you ever struggle to find books for teens? Mostly the ones without spies? I totally get you because I struggle with the same thing. I'm 13 years old and I love to read. But sometimes I struggle to find books that are popular and are really good and they're romance books and they're fun to read, but then they have those super specific scenes in the middle that I just don't like to read. These are book recs for you because they are so good and they have no spies. My first recommendation is going to be The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The first book is The Inheritance Games, then The Hawthorne Legacy, and then The Final Gambit. I love this series. It has short chapters. It's a mystery book with a subplot of romance, so the romance doesn't completely overtake the story. It's not a romance book. It is mystery. It's a YA mystery. And I just completely love this. It's one of my favorite series. I threw the last two books, I just flew through them. It took me like a day or two to read them. The first one was a little bit harder to read just because you had to learn about the characters and you had to get interested, but after that, amazing. So next up, my recommendation is going to be A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is also a trilogy. It starts with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood, and then As Good as Dead. This series is a mystery. They're trying to solve a murder with Pip, the main character. She's a senior in high school who has to do a project for her senior year, and she decides to uncover a murder that happened in her hometown 5 years ago. This also has like a subplot of romance as well, a lot like The Inheritance Games. It does have a romance, but it also doesn't completely take over the story, and it's just a really cute romance too. Like the main character and the guy, like the love interest, are just so cute, and I really recommend this series. It like fully all the books together would be like 4 out of 5 stars, so I really recommend. So the next book I'm going to recommend, I've never seen anybody online talk about it, and the only reason I found it is because I thrifted it at a thrift store. So it's called P.S. I Like You by Casey West, and this is a YA romance book. I really enjoyed it. It was fun and easy to read. It's basically about the main character, Lily. One day at school, she writes down the lyrics to her favorite song, and then the next day, someone responds to it, and they just kind of start writing letters back and forth, until they start sharing secrets and personal things, and now she really wants to find out who this is. And it was just so cute, and I really enjoyed it, and I totally recommend it, and we should get this to be more popular. Next up, we have The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicole Yoon. This book is a grumpy sunshine kind of trope. Natasha, the girl, being the grumpy, and then the guy, Daniel, being the sunshine. Natasha is an illegal immigrant from Jamaica who is getting deported tonight, and then Daniel is just a kid who has to always be the good son and going to high expectations. He's expected to go to Yale to become a doctor. Natasha doesn't believe in fate, or she's just pure science and facts, and Daniel likes to think about dreams and destiny and fate, and you can just kind of see them clash together and just make this beautiful mess. And I just really like this book, and I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So next up is a book also by the same author, Nicole Yoon. It's Everything, Everything, and this book is about Maddie, the main character, and she is allergic to the world. Basically, the air just does something to her that could cause her death. So she has stayed in for the last 17 years in her house, living with her mom and her nurse. But then one day, a neighbor moves in, and his name is Ollie, and she basically just falls in love with him, and she starts to take risk and just kind of change it up, and she doesn't want to live this boring, like, everyday life that she's lived for the last 17 years. And it's just very interesting. I rated it at 3.5 out of 5 stars, 3.5, and it was very good. I did prefer A Sun Is Also a Star, but still. The last book series I'm going to talk about is Legend by Marie Lu. This is one of my favorite series. It's actually the one that made me fall in love with reading. The first book is Legend, and then the second book, I don't own it, but it's Prodigy, and that's like the picture of it. And then Champion. These are just 5-star reads. It's a YA dystopian novel, and it's about June, who is a prodigy and super rich, and then on the other side, it's Day, who's poor, and he is the most wanted criminal of the country. And then when June's brother is just randomly murdered, she is set out to go and find the person who killed him, who she is told that it's Day, so now she has to go find Day and arrest him. And it's just a really interesting book, and I totally recommend it. So that is all the books I have for today. It was like a kind of a big stack, but still. Also, can we just talk about how dark it is now? I started when it was still light, but it's still like 6 o'clock. It just gets darker faster now. But thank you for watching, and I would do the whole like and subscribe thing, but if you're on YouTube, you already know how it works. So thank you and bye.